Yo, what up guys, I'm Sammy and welcome back to the Soul Brothers channel, and today we're going to be going over the teardown, the dismantling of the Jordan Why Not 0.3, Russell Westbrook's third signature shoe with Jordan brand. So shout out to fastpass.cn as always for doing the dirty work and tearing these shoes up, because we used to do the chop shop and that's a lot of work. It's hard, man. It's a hard job to do. So I don't know how they do it so well and so clean, but shouts out to them. So yeah, let's get right into it. It's 130 bucks. If you guys want to cop, I'll leave a link in the description box. But let's get it started off with this cross-section cut. So in this white noise colorway, there are a lot of colors in this. Even under the shoe, inside the shoe, there's a lot of colors. The first thing that jumps out to me is the zoom unit. Some people were calling it a zoom turbo, and it says here it's a zoom turbo. I didn't know that. The Ekin that I was talking to, or the Nike guy at the Jordan event, he didn't say it was a zoom turbo unit. So, or maybe I just missed it. Whatever, it's a zoom unit nonetheless. It really doesn't matter. It is articulated though, so I guess it does make sense that they are calling it a zoom turbo. It does look like it is bottom loaded though, which is interesting because I could feel it. It's a pretty nice and bouncy zoom unit, zoom setup, so that's pretty surprising. Maybe they made it a little thicker. I don't think so. And also another thing is, look at how low that forefoot is. That forefoot cushion, like that court feel, looks real nice as far as court feel goes. And then it does thicken up a little bit in the heel, but doesn't look all that thick. And then of course you do have the insole, and then the materials. As far as the materials go, I mean, it doesn't look as thick as last year's, and it doesn't look super thick, but not as thin and minimal as the Curry 7 or the Curry 6. It gets the job done. And for this colorway, just this colorway, you have a felt type of material for the lining in the ankle area, and of course there is a very nice Achilles pillow, as you guys already know. And then here is the upper separated from the midsole. I mean, it's kind of weird because the upper looks so much thicker and so much bulkier like this way than I guess just the cross section cut. So but anyways, there's that. As far as looking under the materials and the upper goes, the tongue, like I said, is pretty much independent, but I guess it's connected at the bottom and also I guess along the midfoot area, it looks like. Or actually no, it's not. It's a fully independent tongue. And then of course you guys can see here in the ankle area, this blue part is probably just the internal TPU heel counter. And then here you guys can see the Achilles pillow, and they're saying it's an independent foam, which I mean, it's not. That's usually how it is, right? The Achilles pillow, they usually just put an independent foam and then they stitch it around, I guess, the lining of the shoe. So alright, as far as the cushion goes, we can see the cushion and the insole here. And another cool thing that we can see is the in the midfoot area, and also I guess the heel, the foam does come up. Like most shoes do this, and it's to cup and cage your foot in. So like if there was no type of caging or lateral caging or anything like that, your foot would be sliding out of the footbed, right? So in a basketball shoe, you're using, or when you're playing basketball, you're using a lot of lateral movements, and your foot's gonna want to stay caged into the shoe. Like for example, if you're just running in a straight line like a marathon or something, usually there's really nothing in the heel. It's the entire upper is just a knit or whatever, or a mesh, and you can get away with it because you're not doing any lateral movements, and especially you don't want your heel to, I guess, come out of the footbed. You guys can see here in the 0.3 in the midfoot, the foam does come up, and also in the heel. So that's a nice little cool thing to see. I don't know why they put all that up in the medial side though. You really don't need any type of medial caging in the shoe. So like my advice would be like, usually midsoles are very heavy. They take up a good amount of weight in the shoe, so why not just take out all of this, like all of these sharp edges and stuff, and try to lighten up the shoe a little bit. I mean, it was a pretty light shoe to begin with, as far as like comparing it to the 0.2 and the 0.1, but I think they could have done a little bit more. But I guess they did take a step in the right direction with the 0.3. And then we can see the actual midsole. It says it's full-length Phylon, so nothing crazy or nothing special there. But in the heel, there are some holes, which allows for a little bit more compression. Like when you're doing hard impacts, heel strikes and stuff like that, it allows the cushion to expand into those holes. And I guess you get a little bit more impact protection, which is interesting. They just drill it out, I guess. And there's what, 8 holes in the heel. As far as the zoom unit in the forefoot goes, it is articulated. It doesn't look like Zoom Turbo though. Like comparing it to the Kyrie 6 and the Kyrie 5, it's not as articulated as the as those zoom units. This just reminds me of more like a regular articulated zoom unit found in like most Jordan shoes, you know. But it is bottom loaded, like I said, like we saw earlier. And as far as how big it is, it's 80 millimeters wide, I guess, and 79 millimeters long. And as far as thickness goes, it's 10.6 millimeters thick. That's average. It's not super thick. Thick as I've seen is like 12. And then as far as like the KD9 and the KD10, those went to like crazy thicknesses. But just as an independent zoom unit, 10.6 millimeters is, I guess, average. And of course, here we can see the TPU support plate, or I guess the midfoot shank. And I guess it does allow for a little bit more stability, a little bit more support in the midfoot area if you have a flat foot. As you can see, the arch, the midsole coming up a little bit. And there is the actual, they just wrecked the sizing tag. That's kind of funny. But yeah, there's the midfoot shank, it's just plastic. And then there's the outsole. The outsole, of course, like I said, they could have done a lot better as far as durability goes. It's 3.96 millimeters thick, basically 4 millimeters, which does surprise me. That's kind of thick, right? That is kind of thick, I guess, but the nubs are very, very thin. As far as the forefoot thickness goes, it's 18.07 millimeters. So that's okay. You know, that's not the thinnest we've seen. I believe the thinnest was around 13 to 12. I think the Jordan 31 was like 12 millimeters, and the Dame 4 was like 14 millimeters. So it's definitely not super thin, but you know, it's a lot better than the 0.2. And then the heel, it's 25.3 millimeters thick. You know, they did a good job as to lowering the overall cushion setup, better court feel. So yeah, there is the dismantling of the 0.3. Pretty interesting. If you guys want to check out the performance review, I have it up on the channel. And if you guys do want to cop, again, I'll leave links below. But that's it. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys next one.